I still remember the exact moment 30 people cheered for the wrong heir. The lawyer had just finished reading Grandma Evelyn's will. All 5 Austin rental properties, Bee Caves, South Lamar, East Riverside, Hyde Park, and the Lake House on Travis, are bequeathed entirely to my grandson, Mason Reed. The backyard erupted. Champagne corks popped. Mason's fiancée, Sloane, actually screamed, "That's my king," while cousin slapped his back like he'd just thrown a game-winning touchdown. Mom dabbed her eyes with a monogrammed napkin, whispering, "She always knew you were the one, baby." Dad raised his glass, so high the tequila sloshed onto his wrist. To the future of the Reed legacy. I sat in the shade of the live oak, untouched flute in my hand, and waited for the noise to peak. Then I said, calm as Sunday morning, "You really have no idea, do you?" Every head snapped toward me. Dad's glass froze halfway to his lips. "Idea about what, Riley?" I didn't answer him. I just reached into the leather tote at my feet, pulled out 5 recorded warranty deeds and 1 fat trust document, and laid them on the teak picnic table like I was dealing cards. Let me take you back, so this moment actually hurts the way it's supposed to. I'm Riley Reed, 34, former Navy logistics officer, current director of asset management for a RIT that owns half of downtown Austin. My family still thinks I push papers for the government and probably live in a 1-bedroom off Runberg. Growing up, Mason was the sun. I was whatever planet was farthest out, Pluto on a good day. He started for Lake Travis High. I started for nobody. He wrecked Dad's truck at 17. Dad laughed and said, "Boys will be boys." I made Chief Petty Officer at 26. Dad said, "That's nice, honey." Mason just closed his 3rd flip. The 5 rentals were Grandma Evelyn's empire. She bought them with widow's benefits and teacher pensions while everyone else was busy worshiping Mason's jump shot. Dad bragged about them like he'd built them brick by brick. Mason managed them, which meant he pocketed rent, invented $6,000 HVAC emergencies, and Venmo'd himself consulting fees nobody ever saw receipts for. Grandma saw it all. Every leave I came home, she'd sit me on her porch in Terrytown, hand me a stack of bank statements and ask, "Tell me what you see, sugar." By the 3rd visit, I saw everything. Missing deposits, forged invoices, cash withdrawals labeled repairs, Home Depot. She never cried. She just said, "When I'm gone, I need someone who counts bullets, not someone who fires them into the air." 2 years before she passed, she had her estate attorney draw up a revocable trust naming me successor trustee. We signed every deed in her kitchen while Mason was at Topgolf. We recorded them at the Travis County Courthouse before lunch. Then we drank sweet tea and burned the drafts in her fire pit like we were witches hiding spellbooks. For 24 months, the family kept planning Mason's coronation. Dad even had custom koozies made. Reed Rentals, the next generation. I never said a word. I just waited for the day someone tried to hand my brother keys that were already on my keyring. That day was the will reading. Back to the picnic table. I fanned the deeds so the raised county seals caught the string lights. Recorded June 14th, 2 years ago, I said. All 5 properties transferred into the Evelyn Reed Living Trust. I'm the trustee. Title's been in my name since the day we signed. Dad made a sound like someone had punched him in the throat. Mason lunged for the papers. "This is fake. Grandma was on pain meds. She was sharp enough to beat you at gin rummy the same week," I said. The lawyer, poor Mr. Caldwell, who'd been paid to read a will that no longer mattered, took one deed, checked the recording stamp, then another. His face went the color of spoiled milk. "These are valid," he announced to the yard. "Probate has nothing to distribute. Miss Reed has owned the portfolio outright for 2 years." You could hear the ice melting in 30 abandoned glasses. Sloane's mouth opened and closed like a goldfish. Mom whispered, "But we thought..." Dad looked at me like I'd grown a second head. "Why didn't you say anything?" "Because nobody ever asked what Grandma wanted," I said. "You all just assumed the loudest voice in the room was the one she trusted." Mason found his voice, high and shaking. "You let us throw this party. You let us look like idiots." "No." I cut in. You threw yourselves a parade on property that hasn't been yours since 2023. I just brought the receipts. I closed the folder, latched my tote, and stood. Dad reached for my wrist. Riley, baby, we can fix this. Family meeting inside. There's nothing to fix, I said. The houses are mine. The income is mine. The decisions are mine. You raised me to believe I'd be fine with nothing, so congratulations. Nothing is exactly what you're getting. I walked through the yard while 30 people watched in total silence. Sloane was crying into her champagne. Mason looked like someone had unplugged him. Mom kept saying my name like a broken record. 6 months later, the Caves house has new tenants who actually get their AC fix. The East Riverside duplex is under renovation with permits this time. Dad sold his boat. Mason's truck got repossessed. Sloane kept the ring, but not the fiancé. Some nights I sit on the deck of the lake house Grandma loved most, feet in the water, city lights flickering across Lake Travis, and I think about the little girl who used to wait for someone to notice her science fair ribbon. That girl learned that quiet doesn't mean invisible. It just means you see everything while they're busy looking the other way. If your family ever handed your birthright to the wrong child and dared you to smile about it, tell me in the comments. I read every single one. You're not crazy. You're just the one who is paying attention.